Hey Chaotic Crew, Brian here, and I've got a new Edge of Eternities deck tech for you. Don't forget, today is the last day. It should be July 25th. Make sure to check out our pre-con upgrade videos. We're giving away one of the Edge of Eternities pre-cons of your choice. Just got to make sure to visit both of those videos, comment the special comment, and then tonight at 9:30 Central, we're going live on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/chaoticcommandermtg. We're going to announce the winner live there, and just have a good time as well while we're at it. But the deck we're building today is a pretty fun one, and I've wanted to build a deck out of the new Spacecraft mechanic that comes out in Edge of Eternities. What's really cool is they've made a few legendary spacecraft, but they made one that's all 5 colors. So you would think that this would care about having multiple spacecraft in your deck. Well, I've got a bone to pick with Wizards because it's actually not the case for this deck, which doesn't make sense to me, because why would you make a 5-color spacecraft if it doesn't care about spacecraft? We have 5-color commanders already, so what makes this one so special? So Infinite Guideline Station, 5 mana for a spacecraft. When it enters, you create a tapped 2/2 colorless robot for each multicolored permanent you control. Okay, so it cares about multicolored permanents. Also a station, you tap another creature you control, put charge counters on this equal to the power of the creature. Station only as a sorcery. It's an artifact creature at 12 plus charge counters. And then when you have 12 plus, it's a 7/15 flyer. So whenever Infinite Guideline Station attacks, you draw a card for each multicolored permanent you control. So both abilities care about multicolored permanents. So you would think if it cares about spacecraft, that there'd be lots of multicolored spacecraft. There are two, and they're the pre-con ones. Now this will get better over time, where you can maybe turn Infinite Guideline Station into a spacecraft commander, but you really can't build a spacecraft kindred deck around Infinite Guideline Station because there's only a couple of multicolored permanents that are spacecraft. So with that, I was thinking, okay, well, what else can I do with Infinite Guideline Station? Oh, well, it is a spacecraft. You do tap creatures to station it. Maybe I can do a fun 5-color tap-untap kind of strategy, which is an interesting idea. There's a lot of cool cards that go into that. There's, Annie Flash from, the Thunder Junction set. There, of course, are the survival cards like Kona or Rip from the Duskmorn set. So some pretty unique stuff you can do around that, but it's pretty clunky, slow, and is probably going to lose a lot of your local tables games. That's when I tried to build it at least. So can't really do a whole lot with that. And then I thought, okay, well, Infinite Guideline Station makes robots. So let's make Robot Kindred. And I was thinking, what are the best robots in Magic? Well, of course, it's Transformers. And if you've been on this channel a long time, you know I love a 5-color Transformers commander. I have a Joda the Unifier Transformers deck. There are a good amount of multicolored Transformers, so it could work really well. And that's a fun way you could go about this deck. Not as good as Joda, so maybe if your playgroup hates Joda, that could be a fun thing you could do. Maybe you could get a proxy of Infinite Guideline Station as like Unicron. If you're a huge Transformers nerd, that would be very flavorful, but not great. And I wanted to build a deck that was fun to play as and, obviously threatened the pre-cons that they're making these days. But I also wanted to go in a unique direction with Infinite Guideline Station, And looking at pretty much EDH Rec or all these other websites, most of them are just generic multicolored good stuff, which is really boring if you ask me. So I tried to spice it up a little bit by making it all about blinking, and which is great because Infinite Guideline Station is really an artifact most of the time. So we want to blink artifacts as much as we can. So we're blinking in a vacuum. And that's what this deck is really focused on. And they did a good job, I guess, for Infinite Guideline Station, making it pretty vague so you can go a lot of different routes and build it however you want. I wish it was more geared towards spacecraft, but hey, Got to make the best with what we got, so we're going into a 5-color blink strategy, which we have seen before, but like I said, the Infinite Guideline Station being an artifact makes it a bit more unique, and we're making lots of tokens along the way. So let's dive right in. We've got a couple Planeswalkers here, both Esper. First is Aminatu, the Fate Shifter. This card's really great to really blink your commander. -1 blinks is great. +1 to essentially, draw, maybe fix something. +1 doesn't really do a whole lot. You're playing Aminatu mainly for the blink, any permanent you have. Dagon Shadow Slayer is pretty great. Enters the battlefield with a number of loyalties equal to the number of lands you control, so it's good early game, right, to start build up that loyalty, start surveilling, and then it is, also good late game to exile a creature, get a free artifact, maybe get Infinite Guideline back from our graveyard to the battlefield, which could be interesting, right? What's really cool about Dakin is that you can minus it, and then you could blink it if you have something to blink it, and it comes back in, you can use its ability again. So these two actually work really well together, and they're multicolored, so work pretty well with Infinite Guideline Station as well. As far as creatures, we've got a good amount here. Abuelo, obviously from the recent Ixalan set, 3 mana, 2/2, Flying Ward 2. You can pay 3 mana to exile a target creature or artifact you control, return to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So essentially giving you repeatable blink here is pretty good, and being multicolored kind of gives us exactly what we want here. Baleful Strix is great, just a cheap blocker. When it enters, we're going to draw a card, and it's multicolored, so love that. Birds of Paradise can help fix the mana that we need. Brago Keen Eternal is definitely interesting. 4 mana for a 2/4 flyer. It's also Azorius. When Brago deals combat damage to a player, you exile any number of target non-land permanents you control, then return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. So this is kind of the best card in our deck, really, for our strategy, because Brago is going to be able to not only blink our commander, but blink all of our other enter the battlefield triggers that we have. So really strong there. Coiling Oracle, pseudo ramp, Delighted Halfling as well to, help the ramp package out and really get us going. Enthusiastic Mechanaut's great because it's going to make other artifacts cost 1 less, and it's, a multicolored spell. We don't have a ton of artifacts except for, of course, our ramp pieces and whatever, so it's not doing a ton in the deck, but it does enough. And our commander, also will get commander tax eventually, so could be good there as well. Aowen Fearless Knight is good removal, and really helps us hit in with all of our creatures, or our legendary creatures, so nice there. Fabro Elder, another great ramp piece for a multicolored deck. Feldar Guardian blinks our commander, which is nice, so great to have that. Goldforged Thopterix gives us a little bit of protection for our commander, also has lifelink, so if we can buff it a bit, maybe gain some life. Dweller is going to help us draw cards. Carter's really great for making sure our opponents steer clear from us and hitting our opponents, so that's always nice there. And blinking this gets really annoying. Curious Follower, great ramp on a multicolored permanent. Knight of Autumn, fantastic to destroy an artifact or enchantment. It's also multicolored. Lashiel is pretty neat. Not multicolored, but it's going to prevent combat damage that will be dealt to attacking artifact creatures we control. Which, of course, our commander may be an artifact creature, but mainly it's the 2/2 robots, right, that Lashiel protects. And then when your commander enters, it's going to make at least 1 robot, and when that happens, Lashiel will draw us a card. So nice to have in the deck, I thought. Lotho Colart Sheriff is just good ramp. OG, the Exquisite Blade, another way to blink creatures. It is not blinking any artifacts or any other non-land permanents, but can blink creatures, so I thought nice to have. It can even blink itself, so I thought it was worth, getting some more life gain and some scry in here as well. Ornithopter of Paradise is great as just another ramp piece in the deck. Pantlaza, Sun-favored, pretty much only going to be discovering 4 off of Pantlaza because it's really only going to be blinking itself, but if we can blink it, multiple times in a turn, we're going to get lots of value from it, so great to have there. Pyrewood Gearhulk, fantastic. Vigilance Menace, and when it enters, other creatures getting +2/+2 gain Vigilance and Menace until end of turn, and then damage can't be prevented. So if we're looking to close out the game, play Pyrewood Gearhulk, maybe blink it, right, if it's already in the battlefield, and then your opponent can't Teferis, right, because damage can't be prevented. So they they'll still take the damage. So nice anti-Teferi's tech here. Risen Reef, also great to pseudo ramp, right? And it also works with one or two other cards in the deck. Solemn Simulacrum is ramp as well. Yarick the Desecrated to double triggers, including our commander, and any other creatures we have. That would be great. Moving on to sorceries, not many here. We've got, a board wipe and Blasphemous Edict, Cultivate, Farseek, Kodama's Reach, Rampant Growth, just to get whatever lands we need, right? Eerie Ultimatum to get everything out of our graveyard. If it's been a long game, this could be a really great card here. As far as instants, we've got an Offer You Can't Refuse, Arcane Denial, and of course Negate as some, cheap counters. You don't need a ton of counters in this deck, but I always like to have 3 in any deck that has blue at least. That way you can have some interaction like that. We're also, of course, running Generous Gift, Chaos Warp, D-Spark, Swords to Plowshares, these ways, Crackling Doom as well, to deal with, our opponent's board state. Boros Charm and Cosmic Intervention as protection, and then we are running Cyclonic Rift as a board wipe. You can run whatever you want here. I like running Cyclonic Rift, just it can end the game as a board wipe, and not all board wipes kind of can do that. I typically don't play it as like a extend the game card if I'm already kind of screwed, and I don't think I can come back, then I just won't cast it, but good to have there. And then we, of course, have Ghostly Flicker, Planar Incision, and Scroll Shift, which are all cards that can blink our commander, as well as Scroll Shift can get an enchantment or a creature, and Ghostly Flicker and Planar Incision can get a creature as well. So those are both pretty good. As far as artifacts, we have some really solid ones here. We are running all 5 of the border posts. And what's great about these is these are multicolored permanents. So they actually work really well with our commander, and they ramp right into our commander, right? On turn 3, play this down intercept, and then turn 4, you can potentially get our commander down. Obviously, if we don't have the right colors to cast it, we can, of course, essentially play it as a basic land. Which is always nice as well. Then we're running some other ramp spells, Arcane Signet, Decanter of Endless Water, since we're going to be drawing lots of cards later on, Felwar Stone, Patrick Banner, naming robots to give them each a little bit of a buff there. Panharmonicon, also really good in Conjurer's Closet to sort of help with the blink effects. And then Sarima is a new card, a Spacecraft. When it enters, you're going to get a legendary creature card. Tutored up. So we've got a lot of those in here, right? We could be getting OG, Lotho, Carter, we could be getting Yarick, Pantlaza, Lashiel, Jwaira, Aowen, Brago, right? We might be getting Brago, or if we're in a pinch, Carter. Maybe if we already had those in our hand, maybe we're getting Pantlaza for discovering, but just really unique, fun thing that we can do repeatably in this deck. And then obviously once you make it into a creature, you're going to give your tapped creatures indestructible, so as they attack, kind of giving that extra Lashiel kind of effect there. Last but not least, for enchantments, we've got a decent amount here. Nahiri's Resolve is another fantastic card, akin to Brago. It's going to be blinking, all of our artifacts and creatures that are non-tokens that we'd like. Obviously, not as good because we're not going to get them till our next upkeep, but really good, strong card there to help with the plan. Kindred Discovery to draw a ton of cards. We're probably going to choose robots as well, right? Our commander's going to enter, maybe draw us 3 cards when it does. So that could be neat. Trace of Abundance is a great ramp spell. Brother of the Wild gives, all of our creatures haste or +1/+1 counters if they're entering later in the turn. And then, of course, Teleportation Circle also helps get our commander blinked. And then, of course, last but not least, we have the lands. Now, nothing too crazy in this land base. We're running all 7 of these dual base lands and are tapped unless you control 2 more basics. We are running, mostly forests as the basic lands, and then a little bit of everything else. And then, of course, Spire of Industry, Plaza of Heroes, Path of Ancestry, Command Tower, Fabled Passage, Exotic Orchard, Escape Tunnel, Inventor's Fair, Evolving Wilds. So pretty much just trying to get the most out of these, and just a generic 5-mana land base. You can do better probably, but I just quickly put it together. Let's go ahead and play test the deck, see how it runs, right? Trying to blink our commander. So we have three lands, ramp, Brago, Nahiri, birds. So I think this is a really great hand, not gonna lie. So let's go ahead and go into it. Turn 1, we get an escape tunnel. So I'm actually going to go ahead and crack it and get out a forest. I know we don't need a forest because we have the Canopy Vista, but I really want to get Birds of Paradise out next turn, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, next turn we will draw, and then, okay, we will play Plains. We will go ahead and play the birds, and then we will, here, we'll do these down here so we can get the birds in view. Or, instead of birds, we could Farseek, but I like birds better. I don't know, you could do either or. Next turn, we get another one of those lands, so actually we've got a lot of options. Luckily, we can kind of play Brago, which is kind of perfect. We get Brago out this turn. If nothing happens to him, then we can get our commander out next turn and then blink it. So we're going to get 4 robots instead of just, you know, 2, which is really, or really instead of 1, right? Because he's the only other multicolored permanent we have. So turn 4, we get another one of these lands. Sure, let's go ahead and play it. And we will, you know, tap 5 for the commander, make 2 tokens, swing with Brago, probably hit somebody, blink our commander, make 2 more tapped tokens. So now we have 4 2/2s. That's really strong. Next turn we play Nahiri's Resolve, which actually buffs all of our creatures by 1. And then we can turn Infinite Guideline Station on, attack with it, and then we can end up blinking it again, right? And after we draw cards and make a bunch more. So yeah, this is gonna be pretty good start right here. So that is not bad. Next game we do have another birds, but only 1 land. So if we had another land, this would be pretty decent hand because we do have the Ornithopter and Patchwork Banner. But let's just go ahead and mulligan. Another 0 lander, so we'll just do 1 more. Okay, this is better. We do have lots of ramp pieces in the deck to sort of help things out. This is great because we can get Lotho out pretty quickly, so we will draw for turn, play a Prairie Stream, next turn, you know, or I guess have to hit the next turn button, get a Swamp, play Lotho, and then we'll instantly get some treasures here and there. So we maybe got 1 treasure that turn around, right? We can, of course, play the Sarima if we wanted to. I'd probably rather Farseek. Yeah, Farseek is definitely a play. We could also, if we got 2 treasures, we could also just play our commander, which is not the worst thing that we could do. So really just depending on how this turn 3 went, if people double spelled, we probably didn't, but they could have. But we probably got 1 treasure, and we could use it to Farseek, and I think I would do that. View library, and to get a forest. And then we just pass the turn, and then we get another treasure. Someone will double spell. You know, play a 5th land. Cast our commander, get 2 robots. Not amazing, but we do have Felidar Guardian to get some more, or Nahiri's Resolve as well to get some more, which is really great. We also have Arcane Denial, which we will possibly have after a double spell with an opponent. And yeah, so we're doing pretty well this turn as well. Let's do 1 more game. Again with the 1 landers. We have 36 lands, and you might argue that's too small, but I think that's good enough. Okay, this is good. We've got 2 lands, Arcane Signet, and then we can go from there. So turn 1, another Mana Rock, so good there. Turn 2, we get a forest, so even better, and we Arcane Signet that bad boy. Turn 3, we get another forest, so I say we go ahead and keep it. Let's do it here, and Do we play Decanter into Coiling Oracle? I like Fabro Elder because next turn we can get out... Oh no, we don't have the blue to get out our commander. So I think Decanter into Coiling Oracle actually is the best play. So 1, 2, 3, and then we get Coiling Oracle. The top card is not a land, but it's Cultivate, so not bad. Next turn, we get a Fabled Passage, which we don't need right now because we can get a red. So we have all 5 colors. So let's tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for our commander. Get a 2 robots tapped. Not bad. Next turn, we have a Pyrowood Gearhulk, which isn't amazing. But now we can start playing things to get out, you know, power up our Infinite Guideline Station to draw cards, right? We're kind of in a state where we don't really have a whole lot. We have a removal spell, which is nice. We have a way to end the game in our hand, and a little bit of card draw if we can start blinking our commander, but nothing to really blink our commander. So this turn is about Fabro Elder. Maybe we Cultivate, or maybe we hold up the Chaos Warp mana. But we could Cultivate to get lands out of our deck and play those, right? Fabro Elder could also be really good here. So then we have 2 robots that can go ahead and power up Guideline Station. Fabro Elder will also be 5 power. We can use to power up Guideline Station. So next turn, you know, you can go ahead and get that out, or we have 6 mana. We could Pyrowood Gearhulk and then just power up Infinite Guideline Station this turn, attack with it, draw 3 cards. I kind of like that. And then we could blink this later. So 6 mana for Pyrowood Gearhulk. We haven't played our land yet. So Fabled Passage that, and we'll get a Swamp. Close and shuffle. And then, you know, that is going to give other creatures +2/+2. So these are both 6/6s. But we'll tap this and one of the robots for the Infinite Guideline Station. Swing in, draw 3 cards. And we got some good ones. Abuelo will be great in making sure that we can blink stuff. Cyclonic Rift will be really good as well. So that is nice. So next turn, if we can hold up mana for Psych Rift, that's fantastic. And then Abuelo can kind of come in and do lots of damage by coming in, blinking. No, Pyrowood, it would come in at the end step, so not amazing. Dang. Okay, but anyways, yeah, Cyclonic Rift would be really helpful as well. But yeah, that's pretty much the deck. Just getting a bunch of robots on the battlefield and kind of going from there. I really hope you enjoyed the deck. Let me know what cards you'd put in, what cards you would take out. How would you build Infinite Guideline Station? I know I kind of went on a rant on that earlier on, but let me know that, and then also make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to do that so you don't miss out on any of our new deck techs or upcoming pre-con giveaways. Speaking of, we are giving away one tonight on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/chaoticCommanderMTG, and that's of course July 25th for Edge of Eternities, and in the US only. What do you have to do? You just have to go watch the previous pre-con upgrades that we have and leave the special comment in the comment section on those, and then you're entered in. So go ahead and do that. They're fun there, and otherwise we'll see you tonight, and I'll see you next time.